Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over how to quickly and effectively improve your 40 time. I'm going to start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so this is going to be a video of Coleman running the 40. I think he has one of the fast 40s that are really on record. But either way, there's a lot of things that he does from a technical perspective that I think are perfect. And we want to be able to go a little bit more in depth into what those are to help you improve your 40. So first thing that we're going to look at is the start, okay? And notice that when he gets this first action, what he's doing within the knees, within the toes, within the foot, as he's going through this extension, bringing that knee right through, getting that low heel recovery. And also, this is a thing I've been talking a lot about recently, is the position of the elbow, getting that elbow all the way up and through as he's getting through this initial first step. And then this also back foot coming right up and through and getting into this internal rotation. This is another big thing that we talk a lot about, and being able to help and being able to really get great action and great distance with your steps, as well as still being quick, right? We want to be able to maximize length when it comes to running the 40 and really maximizing those first 4 steps, but we don't want to end up spending a lot of time with our feet off the ground. We want to be able to get our foot up and right back down as quickly and efficiently as possible, and that is a great way to be able to do that, is really being able to get your knees right up and through and then being able to come back down from there. So when we look at this side, there's a lot of great things that we're able to see in terms of the first action, the initial knee bend as he's coming down with that front leg, the ability to get those hips through. He's not keeping his chest down, but he's also not rising up with his chin. Again, he's getting that elbow up. And if we look to see from a time perspective, that first step comes off the ground at about 0.4 seconds and is touching back down on the ground at about 0.63 seconds. So it's taking him 0.23 seconds from when that back foot comes off the ground to when it strikes back onto the ground, just to give you an idea from a timing perspective how fast it wants to be for you. Now, another thing that's important is when we see his foot hit the ground here, notice that the other side knee, where that location is as that foot's hitting the ground, right? It's not really far back behind. It's basically even at foot contact. So I'm talking about the front leg, that back knee, how fast he's getting off that back knee and driving that leg forward. So as this foot's hitting the ground, that other leg is immediately through. And that makes it so, again, we can maximize distance. We want to be able to be quick. We want to be able to maximize turnover, make it so our legs are moving as fast as possible, but we also want to be able to pick up distance. And the way to be able to do that is to not let our knee get stuck behind. Again, notice his foot's hitting the ground here, and how the foot's hitting the ground, where he's very, very much on the front part of the foot. And when we see this, and we talked about this a lot in the past, we're seeing the heel inward as that foot hits the ground. We're seeing the knee really stacked right over the foot. As the knee is actually absorbing, he's absorbing into external rotation. So that foot hits the ground, and then his hip and knee externally rotate, so then he gets right back off of the ground. So this makes it so now his foot contact time could be as fast as possible. We want to be able to maximize foot contact time the best that we can, and the way to be able to do that is make it so as we're landing, 0.83 seconds, this is when his fourth step, you can see it's at 5 yards. He lands, he absorbs into that external rotation, and immediately is coming off the ground, and so he's off by, probably not 0.93. Frames weren't great here. We could see that he is at 9.0 right here, and then 9.3, nothing happened. So that frame was not a great frame. This is a little bit of an older video. By 9.6, he's pretty far back behind. Fifth step, he's here, 0.3, and then he's off by 1.3. So it's probably going to be similar in terms of how much time he's spending on the ground. How does he maximize that foot contact? Is he's landing on the inside part of the foot and allowing himself to get into external rotation during that landing phase, and then internal rotation and extension as his foot is coming off the ground, and being able to replicate that step after step makes it so now we can get great, again, distance per step. And he's, I think, 5'8", 5'9", but he's getting 4 step and 5 yards easily. He's past it. 5 yards would be there, right? So he's past 5 yards within those 4 steps, and that allows him to really build that great distance per step. So now he's doing a great job of being able to get those legs through. Now and this is something that we talk about a lot in general with his overall speed, he could probably do a better job of getting those hips hips through and get into his top speed a little bit more effectively. And this is something you do when it comes to running the 60s and things like that. He has a lot of what's called like external rotation in his legs. So you can see as he's landing here, he has a lot of external rotation here, which makes it so then he gets into a lot of internal rotation instead of extension within the hip, which kind of limits his ability to get quality knee flexion, quality hip flexion. I know we're not talking a lot about Coleman here. We want to be able to help you guys understand how to be able to run faster, but I just want you guys to understand from a start, he does a lot of things really well, but now we get to see in like 10 yards, he's starting to let those feet get a little bit too far back behind him. At this point, we'd like to see those hips coming through, and we'd like to be able to see him be able to land and get a little bit more knee bend, right? Instead of getting into so much extension, and then be able to get the foot right back off and through, so then we can get more into a quality hip flexion, a quality knee drive, being able to get that knee up and through. This is going to be ways to help you in being able to run a more effective 40 quickly. Now, I always say this, the biggest improvements, that's why I'm doing this video, come from the start. Most people that I see in terms of their running, they're not bad when it comes to their top speed. What we need to be able to work on is those first 4 steps, being able to drive, get the foot out and through, right back down, right? Again, that was 0.23 seconds. Get that elbow through, get that chest up, keep that chin tucked, make it so we're not allowing those hips to get stuck back behind, make it so our foot comes off the ground quickly, so we're landing with our heel up, we're absorbing an extra rotation, coming right back off the ground. See a lot of guys that land here and are not able to maintain a good position within their heel. Their heel really gets down, their weight really shifts back, which makes it so they're spending way too long on the ground, and we got to be able to understand where we want to be landing, the shin angle, right? Look at the angle of his shin when he's hitting the ground. Okay, these are all things that you can measure. You could get video apps like this. You can understand more about your sprinting. I mean, you could also join my program. I do think the program ends up being the most effective way to be able to help you improve your 40, your 60, your 60 meter, your speed in general, because I'm going to give you that in-depth information. I do this all the time, right? I look to see how can people improve within their sprinting, and I'm really looking to be able to implement more technology, more ways to make it so we can get better in understanding what is your overall capability when it comes to sprinting and top speed, and also where are you at. If you're running a top speed of 18 miles an hour, but you want to be able to run 4.5, or you think you're running 4.5, guess what? It's not happening. It just doesn't make sense from a statistical standpoint. We need to be able to understand what is your top speed, how long does it take you to get to your top speed, how many steps does it take you to run a 40, how many steps does it take you to run a 60. All those things end up being critical in developing as an athlete in terms of being able to not only run faster, not only improve this particular part of your testing, right, running a faster 40, but just a better understanding in general, long-term development, what does it take? And being able to understand those types of metrics end up being critical in order for you to run fast. So as always, guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope this helps. I hope this makes it so you can really get a faster 40 here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, leave those down below. Check out the description to find more about what I'm talking about when it comes to being able to run faster and the faster 40 programs or the speed programs. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.